Hey, Soul Survivors. I'm Cynthia Schiller here with Lenora Hicks, and we are going to talk about her father, Eddie Hicks. Now, he has been in the process, he's gone through his trial for murder, and he's awaiting his sentencing on Thursday. It's currently Sunday, but I believe, and Lenora believes, that he was wrongfully convicted. So we're going to talk about the case, also people in their triggered state, because the person who was murdered was attacking Eddie. And when people are in a triggered state, whether they're a narcissist or on drugs, that they have a different way of thinking. So hopefully Lenora will join us again, talking about some of the mental strains that we go through in situations like this. But let's talk about Eddie. Can you tell me a little bit about what happened?
So I start.
On why I reached out to you because I feel for your father. I saw the interrogation, the way your father presented himself, the situation, and I do feel it was self-defense. So I'll let you talk.
Okay, so where do you want me to start? From what it all started from, the free firewood?
Yeah, it started over free firewood.
Well, it they say it started over free firewood, but it started because well, let me set the scene. My dad lives on a dead-end street, and then I'm gonna call him the deceased. I don't even want to say his name.
Fair enough.
The deceased family lived on the corner when you come from the end of the street to the end of the block and you cross over, they lived right on the corner.
Okay.
And a tree had fallen or broken or something,
It was a
and
large tree too.
a large tree. And the man had called the city a couple of times and they never come down to do anything about it. So he took the law in his own hands, per se, and cut this tree down in large hunks and put a sign on it, free firewood. My
And
dad
I
liked to
saw the
go in the
evidence of that.
wintertime. I'm sorry?
I saw the evidence of that.
Yes. So my dad, being the guy he is, he loves to play his guitar. He loves to sing. He goes out in the garage in the wintertime and keeps a fire stoked in the stove. So he stocks up on his firewood. And seeing that sign, he was like, okay, cool. I can help this man get this mess out of his yard and his neighbor's yard because the tree was over in the neighbor's yard as well. And my dad, being 73 at the time, put a hook into the end of the thing and the end of the log or what have you. I don't know what to
And
call
we're
it. It's not.
talking like
Yeah.
super big.
Yes, and long. I mean, like 6 foot long, 5 foot long. It wasn't firewood. It
Yeah.
was a tree that was cut in half. So dad put hooks in it and was dragging them to the end, all the way to the end of the dead end to his house. And he was on his third one when he heard somebody pull up cussing and screaming and calling him names. And my dad said, I couldn't believe it would be anybody talking to me. He said, but I looked and he said, it was the guy that told me to come get it, was calling me names and cussing me out for leaving marks in the street.
So he did not just take it because of the sign. He actually talked to the man ahead of time.
2 days ahead of time. He told him, I can't be there today or tomorrow, but I'll be there the next day. The man agreed and was excited about getting the mess cleaned up.
Right.
And so dad hooked up to those two, drug them down there, come for the third one. And lo and behold, this man gets out screaming, cussing about the marks that drug from the bark all the way down the street. So dad left. He left the place, diffusing the situation, he thought. He went home. He went home and was watering his flowers, doing whatever outside. It's June 15th. It's very hot.
Right.
And 45 minutes later, he hears somebody speeding down the street. So he walks up his driveway to the front of his house to this guy parked in front of his house with his 13-year-old son in the truck. And he's taking pictures of my dad's house and his car and a picture of him. And dad's telling him, and you can see the picture, dad's pointing, get out of here. Get out of here. Well, it didn't take long. It was really, really quick. I guess the guy came around and attacked my dad being a CPL holder. At 73 years old, he's had quadruple bypass. He has had cancer. He's eat up with arthritis. His hands are crippled up. My dad's a sick man. And so he can't take the blunt of a 46-year-old man beating on him. So my dad pulled his pistol and he shot. Two went into him and one into the truck. I want to stress that because the other family is posting everywhere that the man was shot 3 times. He was shot twice. And maybe
The deceased son was in the vehicle?
he was in the truck. He was in the vehicle and he took off running down the street, jumped out and ran down the street. So whatever else anybody else has been told, that's a lie. It came out of
what exactly caused the altercation? It started with pictures being taken, and then
well, Dad was at home and he thought the situation was over. He went to watering his flowers. At the time, his sugar was low. He said he had gotten a Pepsi and was going to get a Pepsi to drink it, but then this guy came barreling down there.
now I noticed in the pictures your father had a wound on his head, and it's a really unique. It seems like a blunt something hit him, but then there's also like right around here, a unique mark, more like maybe around here.
Yeah, it hit from, I believe, well, my dad was addled. Okay. My dad, they found out later that he had a concussion from it, but medical was never even, he was never even seen medical even before his interrogation. They did his interrogation with his sugar low and him not thinking straight and with a blow to the head. He was also bleeding in the interrogation, in which they gave him napkins so he wouldn't bleed all over the place.
Right. I remember there was some, I believe it was his case where he did, and there was blood on his hand.
Now, I believe because he got out with his cell phone taking pictures, I believe he hit my dad in the head with the cell phone. I mean, it kind of looks just like a cell phone hit him and skid down and hit his cheek, like he hit him with a cell phone. My dad mentioned a screwdriver, so he said he had reached in the truck to grab something. It may have been the screwdriver.
The deceased reached in? The deceased reached in to get the screwdriver, not your father?
Yes, not my father. My father had no time. He was being beat on. There's so much to this story that is so wrong. I mean, I won't go and tell people the story. I tell them what I watched and seen in court. Word for word. I mean, I have been tracking it. Matter of fact, it's on my screen right now because I go over it and over it or over again because I'm not going to lie and I'm not going to get caught in a lie.
And I will tell my viewers that when I reached out to her, it was after watching several videos where she's not just talking, she is showing you the interrogation video, she is showing evidence, pictures, the CPR guy that we haven't talked about yet, the CPR guy reaching into the deceased truck and the location of the screwdriver. Also, my meeting in 5 minutes. Oh, okay. I'm hoping this is recording. It says my meeting's in 5 minutes. It should be fine. So can you talk a little bit about that? Sorry, that distracted me. But with the evidence that she has given, it's not just her words. She is backing it up with pictures, police videos, and your father, we talked about this earlier. He was like, no, I wouldn't do anything different. I was protecting my life. And like you said, usually a guilty person will be like, no, I need an attorney. Somebody who believes that they're innocent is like, no, I want you to hear my story. And that's another reason why I feel he didn't do this out of malice. He didn't do it out of revenge or even just the heat of the moment. So you had said that your father is licensed to carry. He did have it on him when he went, even just to pick up the wood. He always carries it on him. It is an open site, which in Michigan is the law. So he's following the law. He is an elderly man. He's about my body size. So not super big, not terribly tiny, but he's also lost 25 pounds. He's not getting the type of care that he needs in jail. But 25 pounds is quite a bit for your father to lose.
He told me today that the skin literally is hanging off of his wrists. He said, you know, when you see an old lady and she puts her arm up and under her arm there's a flap? Yes, that. He said, my wrist is literally doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, 25.
He's got a bad pancreas and they didn't give his medication for 3 weeks, his pancreas medication.
And that's another reason why I'd like my viewers to feel free to comment, whether you believe it or don't believe it, get the debate going. If you have any legal advice that maybe you can share, we can double check with attorneys. But the fact is he's not getting the care he needs. And he, I believe, is innocent. So for him to risk his life all over again because of his health issues now, it's really important. I believe that they hopefully can get an appeal going because they did not present the evidence of the deceased being on drugs. What kind of, he was on 5, 3 and 2, or however you want to word it, but what was he on?
Oh
When,
my God, I can't, I gotta print
okay.
off.
And I'll be talking while you go get it. I know that you had told me he had some stuff that was like a dab, also the gummies and marijuana. I think you said Suboxone, and you weren't quite sure.
Methadone. I was told it was methadone, Suboxone, dabs, edibles, and he smoked some weed. I could try to pronounce it here.
How do you spell?
Buprenorphine,
Okay.
buprenorphine, and norbupronorphine, bubapronorphine, or norbupronorphine. Can you see it? If I show it to you, can you see it?
Let's see. They could freeze the, yeah, you could probably freeze it and enlarge it, maybe clarify it, but yeah, a little bit further back. So
And
this,
then you see the levels.
like I said, she will show you documentation. She's not just making this stuff up. And the one of the issues is now weed is legal in Michigan, but also you can still get a OUI-L if you operating under the influence, because there are certain times that it's not legal. And it does alter the state of mind, and it might state with the other 2 drugs, what are those drugs for? Are they mental health drugs? Is he somebody who had issues to where your father saw the red flags that we talk about on my channel, to where he honestly felt he was in fear for his life? Did your father ever state why he felt he was in fear for his life? I know he is a little bit more.
Yes, yes, because he was hit in the head.
Yeah,
He was hit in the head, and he definitely feared for his life when he got hit in the head. Yes.
and he was on his own property when this
He
happened.
was on his own property. Yes. He was at home. He left the argument down there at the end of the road.
And you said what, 45 minutes went past?
45 minutes. And that's where stop. That's where injuries. Oh my God, this is not going to stop. The autopsy. That is where the CPR guy comes in. The CPR guy lived across the street from the deceased. They were friends. And the deceased, after the argument with Dad on the corner there, had crossed the street to his friend, neighbor, the CPR guy. And the CPR guy said he was there for about 45 minutes, stomping around, cussing, screaming, wanting to go take care of that old man right now.
The deceased was the one stomping around.
Yes. And then he said then he thought he had talked him down and calmed him down because he left and he went home. He said he came back out a couple minutes later with his son and got in the truck. And he said, I thought to myself, oh man, I hope he's not going down to the old man's house. And he said, and lo and behold, he jumped in the truck with his son and he sped down there. And then I heard pop, pop, pop. So I ran all the way down there. I was thinking, and this is what he's saying, and I was thinking I was going to get down there and it was going to be that old man on the ground.
So he could already feel the rage of the deceased.
Yes. And so he gets down there and he starts doing CPR, and you can see it on the camera, on the cop's cam, where he says, I did CPR on the guy until he quit breathing. You tell me who does CPR on a breathing man, much less on somebody with bullets in their chest.
Oh yeah, CPR, yeah, usually, yeah. That could cause more harm if there are, because you do CPR if that, to try to start the heart again. Maybe he couldn't feel the pulse or whatever, but usually you're breathing.
He was doing more damage than good. He was doing more damage than good. But anyway, so my dad went straight into the house after the shooting, told his wife, call 911. I just shot a man and he's holding his head and he's bleeding. And he called 911. He laid the gun on the counter in the kitchen, and he went outside and waited for the cops to come get him because he knew that's what was going to happen. And you could see all of that on the cam. The cops came. They didn't ask Dad his name. They didn't ask anything. They asked the guy doing CPR, where's the shooter? And he pointed at my dad on the porch. They went straight up there, put cuffs on him, walked him to the vehicle through the crime scene. Now, in the pictures, you can see as they're walking my dad to the cop car, the man doing CPR has already been in the back of the truck and pulled a towel out to cover the deceased. And you can see him in the passenger side of the vehicle doing something, God knows what. He's been allowed to be all over the crime scene and contaminate that crime scene. In the court, you can hear the detective being questioned about it. And he claims he did not see the man in the truck. We did.
I saw the video of it. Yeah, you can see the
yes.
You showed the inside where that screwdriver was, where it's facing as if somebody in the past from the passenger door, which is where the CPR guy, the handle is right here, and then the blade of the screwdriver usually
is pointing
not
towards the
always.
driver's side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they replayed that video for the police, correct? And they still denied it.
And he still didn't remember it. He said, haven't you watched your own body cam? And he said, well, yeah. And he said, you didn't see anything wrong with that? I mean, they took pictures of the screwdriver, but they did no forensics on it to see fingerprints. They didn't do any ballistics on the truck. The whole thing in court, they mentioned the first examiner, the one that did the examination on the body, claimed that there was 7 bullet holes. 7. There was only 3 bullets shot, but there was 7 bullet holes in the man. So the second examiner had to come in there.
In the man or the car, because was he a product of other drive-by shootings or something like that? Like where did they come up with 7? In the body or the body of the car?
In the body, 7 bullet holes. That's what he said. And it made it look like my dad had shot him 7 times. But the second examiner came up there who had examined the body, and he said there was 5 going through the shoulder. One, we're talking about entry wounds and exit wounds. But the first examiner did not explain that. So the family's thinking my dad shot him 7 times. But the second examiner come in there, he said he shot him in the shoulder. And I got the pictures. I just won't post them because,
right,
for reasons. It came in through the shoulder where he had his hand up and was going to hit my dad, turned, and my dad shot. It went through his shoulder, through his arm, into the side here, came out, skid across his chest, and because he was turning, it went back in and came back out on the other side and hit in his arm. And you can see the location of where the bullet hit because his arm was up in the air when the bullet came through and hit that arm. So that was 5 wounds right there. The other 2 was where the second bullet came, and where this bullet head came through and spun him, it hit him in the back shoulder and came out the front. Now, it wasn't like he was running away and got shot in the back. It's the way he was turned when Dad blindly shot, and it spun him around and then hit him in the back shoulder. The third bullet was in the side of the truck, and that was not argued in court. So they made it sound like Dad just pop, 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 shot him. But my dad had been hit in the head and was blinded and shot 3 times, and 1 went in the truck. Now, a man with a CPL knows how to shoot.
Excessive because he did more than 1 or 2 firings? Did they say anything about that?
He did 3 altogether. That was it. And they were all, it wasn't pop, pop, pop. It wasn't pop, pop, pop. It was pop, pop, pop. 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. And that was it. And everybody in the neighborhood had said that that's what they had heard. Pop, pop, pop. So Dad was shooting blindly to save his life. This whole thing makes me sick. It makes me sick. The CPR guy on stand, he lied, but then they played the video back of what he said, and he went, ooh, the kid said that my dad kicked his dad in the head and then grinned at him. No, if you've ever met my dad, and the whole damn thing pisses me off, and I'm sorry I shouldn't be cussing on your thing, is that character witnesses were not allowed in to show what kind of people these people are. My dad is a happy, joyful, make you laugh kind of guy, all the time cutting up, play the guitar, sing, have a good time kind of person. Now, the other guy, I stomped the pavement. I did. Walked door to door to door in that neighborhood, and everybody had a story to tell about that guy. And they were all going to go to court and stand up for him. But then I heard they were getting threats from the other family, like I'm being harassed right now from the other family, all over, everywhere. They did it to the people in the neighborhood, and they all shut down and won't speak.
Yeah, because they can fear for their life too. I mean, they see how toxic it can be. And, you know, when drugs are involved, usually somebody who does drugs, a lot of their friends might be doing it too. And yeah. So
This,
you had
this is a horrible situation.
now what do you think is the future? Do you think that there's a way to appeal? Because
I'm going to fight this until my daddy comes home. I'm going to fight and stomp this pavement and do everything I can to bring that man home. He's 75 years old, and he has been through hell and back. One of the nicest men you ever met does not deserve to be in that Wayne County jail being treated like he's being treated.
yeah, they're not taking care of his medical needs. And
they're sentencing him 3 days before Christmas. Really? Our Thanksgiving was screwed because of his trial. Now Thanksgiving, and we're going to bring in our new year without daddy. It's just not right. It's not right. My dad did a good deed. Now he's getting punished for it.
yeah, just trying to get some wood, you know, because it costs a lot of money to remove that wood, and that was helping that deceased out. And I know this has to be horrible.
My daddy every winter would hook a blade up to his four-wheeler, and he would go all the way down the block and clear everybody's snow. Even for them. He would ride his bicycle around the neighborhood, and if somebody was working on their truck, my dad would stop and help them get their truck fixed. My dad would go to their house and repair their stoves and refrigerators. Now, does this sound like a mean man that they portrayed him as a monster? No.
Now, the deceased, how old was he? How big was he?
He was 46 years old. He wasn't very tall. He was probably 5 foot, 5'4". They said in court that he was seeing a doctor because he had lost muscle mass in his legs and he lost a little bit of weight. But the doctor did say that he still could have took on a 75-year-old man. But they never discussed his medications in court. That paper that I showed you, I screenshotted that from the court. I mean, it was brought up, but it was never argued. Our attorney did not go out and fight for my dad. He did not. I am calling the bar association. We're gonna put a case on him. He cost us $90,000 to get my dad convicted.
Oh, wow.
We fired him, and then we got these other two guys, but
it's the state versus you. I'm gonna look up Suboxone. I can't remember if that's a mental health or like a heart.
No. That drug is given to you to get off of another drug.
Oh, is that like a methadone type thing?
Yes.
Okay, I knew I heard of it. I couldn't remember offhand what it was from. Yeah, so there's probably, yeah, some hardcore, a lot more than any alcohol in his system.
No alcohol. Now, what should have happened was our lawyer should have said, hey, is he prescribed these medications? And what are they prescribed for? And how much is he prescribed? Because he had large amounts in his system. Large.
Yeah. So either he's abusing the drugs most likely, or self-medicating, overdosing himself, causing a lot of brain activity to go a little haywire.
Yeah, to say the least. I mean, this guy really was a madman for no reason. I mean, lines in the street, that's what he told his buddy across the street. Look at those lines in the street, he said. Look at those lines. And you know what's funny is the next day after it all happened, all of it went down over them lines in the street. It rained, and those lines were no more there.
And she's talking about the drag lines, which are like sawdust, kind of scraped up wood, little.
It was the bark that drug on the cement. Yeah. I can show you. I'm going to bring up a picture and show you the line marks on the road.
And it's
I'm pretty
something
sure I can.
that, like your dad probably would have said, okay, I'll clean it up, you know.
Oh, yes. Yes. My dad would have been, right down there to help him clean up that whole mess. That's why he was there.
Right.
It wasn't firewood. I mean, it's not like a 73-year-old man can pick it up and load it in his truck, you know.
Now, did they bring up the fact that he was able to carry that wood, that he had maybe more strength than the person he shot?
They tried to bring that up because, well, and it was brought up that my dad rolled it. He rolled them and then hooked a hook into it and drug it because my dad's too old to do that. Yeah, they were trying to say that he was tough old man. He's like he lifted weights and stuff. No, that's not the case. My dad kept himself moving because if he doesn't move, then he's going to have problems in his legs and his heart. My dad had to always keep moving to keep himself alive. Now
Right.
he's laying in a cell and he can barely walk.
Yeah, he's got the physical issues, probably some mental stuff going on. How is he handling this right now?
My dad, daddy is getting frailer and how do you say this? What's the word I'm trying to grasp? He's declining.
Is he giving up?
That's,
Do you feel he's giving up?
he was, but he calls me every day and I tell him about the Facebook page, how many friends we have now, and how far that Ted Nugent video's gotten, how many views it's got. And he takes his little piece of
when he was
paper.
playing the Ted Nugent? Was your dad playing one of his songs or something? Or
No, it's a video of Ted Nugent speaking about doing something, and then you end up in jail with a felony. And then it cuts off, and I speak, Ted Nugent, we need your help, please. And, that video has gotten us 47,000 views.
wow.
And that makes daddy happy because daddy wants his story out there. He said, Lenora, I'm as innocent as Jesus. And that's his words. He said it today. I'm as innocent as Jesus. And I want everybody to know the truth. I don't want nobody mad at me. And I said, Daddy, you ain't got to worry about it. You got Lenora here. He calls me Beth. You ever seen Yellowstone?
I haven't. I grew
Well,
up
the
so
daughter
Chelsea.
fights for her daddy. The
Oh,
daughter fights for her daddy. So he calls me Beth.
I love it. And there's times that a family member does save the day, and like I was telling you before we started, I was watching CNN and they had somebody who was wrongfully convicted where they overturned the case. So there is hope. There are times that it does work. We just need to get the evidence. We need to get an appeal. Also, people, if this story has touched your heart, please share. Click on the link that I'll put into the comments. Follow the story so you can, if you have any questions, she does have the interrogation posted on that site. I believe, do you have part of the trial? Do you have, I know there's
I've got all of it. It's in 4 parts, 4 days, 4 parts. We got the jury picking all the way to the verdict.
how did you feel about the jury that was selected?
I was not happy about it. I was really ticked off at my lawyer. They kept on the wife of an ex-Taylor cop.
And
It
that's where
happened in
It
Taylor.
happened in the
Taylor
city of
police put
Taylor.
him there. Yeah, Taylor police put him there, and my lawyer kept hit her on there.
Oh,
And it was a month.
your lawyer agreed to that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm beginning to wonder if he was against us. I mean, $90,000, you wouldn't think so.
yeah.
I've got it on the screen, the lines of the road, if you can probably see it.
Yeah, you can see it looks yellow right there. There's like 2 yellow lines.
Right here. That's 2 of the logs that he pulled off right there. But there's no damage to the man's yard that couldn't have been swept up. And Dad told me I was going to go down there and sweep it up for him.
Now, there was also something about buckets of asphalt. Now, there's also too, the asphalt, is the asphalt the public property? It looks like the main road is asphalt and cement for the driveway. What was that about the bucket of asphalt?
This is asphalt, the road here. This is all gravel, and this is, the sidewalk in his driveway. I don't know. That was never talked about until in court, and it was the kid's testimony that his dad had took an orange bucket of the broken asphalt from their driveway to take it down to my dad to what's the word? There's so much, I just can't, I lose my word, to confront him about it. He had said, the boy said, my dad, I was playing my game and my dad come in my room and was screaming, he was mad that we got video of that old man destroying our driveway, and I'm going to take this asphalt down there and confront him, and I want you as a witness.
Okay, I was going to ask you why he brought a 13-year-old. The 13-year-old is old enough to stay at home. So he wanted
him to witness him beat an old man is what I'm gathering.
Well, I think he either wanted a witness to be on dad's side for something that dad might do, or to show off to the son, or just to say, yes, this is, like, he needs a 13-year-old to say, yeah, this is the damage you caused.
But there was never any orange bucket of asphalt found in the truck or on the property or anywhere.
Yeah, so was it a weapon? Was it,
No, it was never brought.
Even legit? Was it even legit?
It wasn't legit because they never found a bucket. There was buckets in the back of the truck.
Okay.
But the way the boy explained in the trial that he got out with the bucket and was walking up to the house. There's no bucket in my dad's yard. There's no bucket anywhere.
And the deceased would not have gone home to take it back home.
No, the deceased died.
Right.
And I hate to say it like that, but I mean, seriously, I'm really mad. That man came down there and destroyed 2 families. And now we have 2 families that are still fighting because of what he did. And that day he designed his own fate. He designed the fate of 2 men. Either my dad was going to die that day and he was going to be in prison and they were going to be doing what I'm doing, or the other way around, which it is.
Right.
Everything I do, they shut down. They shut down our GoFundMe. They shut down my Facebook 3 times. And now they shut down my benefit that I was having down at the VFW, crying that my dad shot him in the back and murdered him. That's not what happened.
So with the forensic evidence, were they able to prove that the trajectory of the bullets that went through, that it was not like, because the way it is,
yes.
Once somebody retreats, once somebody turns their back to walk away, you don't have a right to shoot them. But if they're confronting, and it sounds crazy that, you and I could be getting in this argument, and if I turn to walk away, now you can't kill me or whatever, even though I was about to kill you. So
that's a good argument. That's a very good argument that you just brought up. But the second examiner that they brought in there that examined the body had brought up the fact that the first examiner had been fired from several jobs because he had there goes that word again. He had called a death a homicide to find out later, a natural death to find out later it was a homicide. He had been fired from a couple of jobs.
Different cases.
On different cases, yes. It was brought out in court that he had been fired from other cases because he quoted the wrong thing. And the other examiner had explained with the pointer, he got up with the pointer and showed how the dead guy's arm was up in the air where he was getting ready to hit my dad again when the bullet came through and hit him in the arm. Went all the way through him and hit him in the arm because it lines up.
Right.
I mean, you can go on YouTube and watch this. I mean, it's there. It's still there. I'm not going to lie about anything that is proven right there on, but it was brought out. A lot of stuff. I'm going to say this. A lot of stuff was brought out in court. Our lawyer did bring it out, showed it to the jury, but he didn't argue. He didn't fight it. He didn't put it in the jury's heads. But the prosecuting attorney did drill the jury. He would ask a question 3 times to make sure that jury remembered what he asked. Our lawyer, he brought out evidence, but he didn't argue it. He didn't push it. He didn't fight it. He was not aggressive enough.
That's the thing. I've been through court cases like that too, where they don't bring all the evidence that they need to, or they think it's enough. Why beat a dead horse or whatever? But I wanted to say too, though, that retreating isn't like if he's spun around and about to come back around and continue attacking, that's not retreating either. You know,
No.
and it sounded like he was in the middle of the attack.
He'd already hit Dad and was going to do it again. Dad said he didn't. Dad told me, he said, I didn't hit the ground. He didn't knock me to the ground. He said, I fell back and almost hit the ground. And that's when I grabbed. My dad is a right-hander. And because of his arthritis and stuff, he carries his gun on his left side. So when he got his gun out, he had to pull it out with his left hand and put it in his right hand and then throw it up and start shooting. With it, he was blinded, he was dizzy, he was addled, he was just shooting to save his life. And if you watch the interrogation video, when they tell him that the man had died, you can watch my dad throw his head back and he said, "Oh God, I didn't mean for that to happen." That's what he said. "Oh God, I didn't mean for that to happen." Watching these over and over again, it breaks my heart that my dad had to go through that, and I would gladly take his spot if I could. Gladly, because he's one of the best men I've ever met in my life. I am who I am today because of him, honestly.
Yeah.
I've not been myself since this has happened. I used to go out and sing in karaoke and dress up and paint my face. I mean, I do FX makeup. I'm a karaoke host. I mean, I'm a happy-go-lucky girl, but nobody's seen me for a while because I've locked myself away. Because I don't need to go out in public like this and ruin people's days.
Well, you need people too, though, you know.
I've got a lot fighting for me. I've been out there stomping the pavement for 15 years. I've met a lot of people that love me. So I've got a lot of support. I've got a lot of friends, and I'm thankful for them, everyone.
Yeah. Sometimes we need to kind of take some time for ourselves, but don't forget people are there for you. Will be, and I'll be there too if you want to talk to me. You know,
Thank you.
because like seeing just your dad's interrogation and how forthcoming he was on the facts. He wasn't trying to hide anything. He was fighting for his life, you know, and it was on his property. He wasn't the instigator, like he said. He wasn't like fucking motherfucker deserved it. He was like, whoa, you know. So I don't think he had the malice. Do you know, were there any previous criminal charge things that were brought into court, or
I can't talk about that right now. It wasn't brought out in court, but I can't talk about it because if we have a retrial, then you know what I'm saying?
True.
I'd love to tell you everything I know right now, but I can't.
Yeah, what's most important is the case.
We're gonna have a victory, though. We're gonna have a victory.
We are. Yeah, we just got to keep fighting it. And is there anything that any of the viewers could possibly do? Or I know
yes, donate. Please donate so we can pay a new lawyer for an appeal. Please donate.
Because this is the thing with court cases like this, is it'll be the state of Michigan versus the defendant. So I know my ex had me in court all the time, and it didn't cost him anything. It was all made up charges, but he wanted to eat my money up because it didn't cost him anything. So their family can keep this going because the prosecution is paid for by the state. And so
it's already costed us, let's see, $90,000 for the first lawyer and then another 20,000 for this other lawyer we just hired. And yeah, it's cost, and plus commissary and phone calls, and
Yeah,
his
even if
wife
he's
had
gonna donate just so
making
she can
money.
talk to her dad, that'll help their mental health and, you know,
Well, he calls me every day and asks me for the numbers on the page and on the video. And those are the things that are keeping his faith and keeping his head up, to know he has supporters.
right.
He knows,
Is
that
he
he knows people
suggesting
get his
anything?
story. I'm sorry?
Is he suggesting anything that he wants you to do? Because even just going through and ordering those court papers, you know, you pay per page and there's probably pages upon pages, and you need that to research. Every little word can make a difference.
We don't talk about certain things on the phone because he's being
Right.
recorded, and everything he says can be held against him.
That makes it hard too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you go to visit, are you allowed in person?
No, we're not allowed to visit. No. When COVID came, they came up with these tablets or something, and you could do face chats, but it cost quite a bit. But my daddy told me today that I said, "Do you know about the tablets, right, Dad? I want to see your face." And he said, "No, I don't want you to see what I look like right now." So he won't face chat us because he don't want us to see how bad he looks. That breaks my heart because I just can't imagine. I'm sorry, this is hard. I don't want to see him look bad.
Yeah.
Every day it's a worry that they're going to call me and tell me that my dad died in prison or jail. It's every day it's a worry because he's so sick in there.
Have they since gotten him? Now he's what? He has diabetes or he just low sugar? Is he diabetic?
He's a diabetic.
And is he on insulin or the pill?
Um,
I mean, the shot
he's
or the pill?
they were giving him insulin in the hospital before he went in. He was taking the pill, and when his sugar drops, it drops, and he has to eat candy or drink orange juice or something really quick. Matter of fact, he was doing that in the interrogation video. He told them, "My sugar's low. Do you have candy? And can I have some water?" And he drank down 2 glasses of water and eat that candy. And you can tell he keeps holding his head because he can't think.
Right. Plus he had a fresh concussion going on.
Yes, and they didn't even, they made that man the victim and not my dad.
And
My
your
dad was
deceased was the
attacked.
instigator. Yeah. Now, did your
It's-
dad make contact physically with the deceased? Did your dad get any blows?
no,
No.
no, my dad can't. I mean, I can show you pictures of my dad's hands. I have a birth defect in my finger. See,
Right.
that's been with me since I was born because dad was eat up with arthritis when I was born.
Oh,
Dad can't throw a punch. He'd hurt himself really bad. But the prosecutor said they traded punches. Now you tell me, go back and look at that picture on my dad's head and tell me that was a punch.
yeah. Something's up with that. It doesn't look like a.
No. No. And if you look at the dead man's hands, he has no fingernails where he's all the time chewing his nails. He had no fingernails. So you tell me where those scratches came on my dad's face.
Yeah. And do you know if I said it did not look like a ring scratch. Do you know if he was wearing any rings?
He didn't seem to have any on when we seen the autopsy pictures.
And usually most men don't wear rings. If they do, it's on their left hand. Do you know if he was
This
right-handed
guy
or
was
left-handed?
disabled. This is the funny thing too. The man is disabled. It brought out in court that he was disabled,
Do you know
not able to work.
do you know what kind of disabled? Because you can get a mental impairment, emotional impairment.
Nope, nobody discussed that either. But he was disabled and not able to work. But he had paint cans and buckets, and the truck was nothing but a work vehicle.
He
So
might have,
this is one that works against the law.
I wonder if he was disabled. You can get disability for anxiety. If you have anxiety, you might lash out, or even just the drugs. They should have had at least a background on what his mental state was, because I
Should have
think
been
it's more
something. You're right.
there's red
I
flags.
agree.
there's red flags. He's disabled from something. And it can happen where you're disabled at 46 or whatever he is. But usually, do you know if he served in
That's
the
usually your
Army?
back.
Pardon?
Usually that's your back. If you're disabled at 46 years old, it's because your back is gone.
Your back or mental, unless sometimes if you're super overweight. But it didn't sound like he was very heavy. Like maybe
No,
weight,
the
but
doctor said
not.
he'd lost a lot of weight and muscle mass in his legs. That's what I heard. But I'm watching it again. I've been watching it over and over. I sit here and I watch it over and over again, looking for new and new and new, because Dad's case was not presented right. Like I said, the drug analysis thing that should have been dug into deeper, and the man in that truck and walking through the crime scene, that should have been discussed a whole lot more. There's a whole lot in this case that should have been discussed.
So I know they had a contaminated crime scene. Were there some things that they were able to get that might have been in your father's favor that they were able to find that they just didn't allow to be in your father's favor?
They didn't do forensics on anything. They found the man's cell phone in the back of his truck. Now, how did that happen? He got out with a cell phone taking pictures. I've got the pictures here that he took of my dad's house, my dad's car. And how did the cell phone get in the back of that truck? Could it be the guy getting the towel out?
It could be the CPR guy.
Bingo.
Where was it located? Where was the cell phone in the car? Was it in the passenger seat? Was it? I didn't see it with the screwdriver. Where?
No, the cell phone was in the back of the truck where you reach over the tailgate. It was laying right there. I've got pictures of exactly where it was at too.
Was that where
you tell me how that cell phone got back there?
The towel was in the back seat or the back of the trunk?
Yeah, it was a truck and it had like a
kind of
canopy.
truck, wasn't it? Was it SUV style or was it a truck?
No, it was a truck with a bed, but it had like a camper top thing on the back of it.
Okay.
And they found the cell phone dropped over the tailgate or over it next to the tailgate on the inside. But the CPR guy had went to the back of the truck and got that towel, covered up the deceased, and waited for them to take my dad to the car. And he was in the passenger side of the truck too. He was all over that truck, all in it, everywhere.
There's something up with that because if he had the phone on him, now I saw he's by the driveway, the deceased. When he was shot, how close was he to your dad's front door?
Oh my gosh. I didn't measure it. I really can't tell you.
Right. But
because the guy was up in my dad's yard and I guess he was walking. Okay, so he's up in my dad's face and he's walking my dad. And then they ended up hitting and then shooting, and then it was over at the back of that truck.
Okay. Yeah, my guess is he only maybe went 10 feet or something before he dropped or something like that.
No, he only took 2 steps. He took 2 steps to the back of his truck and spun around and fell. I mean, you can see where he's laying, the dead guy's laying, his legs are crossed.
Right.
So he had to been standing and then twisted and then, fell. I shouldn't be acting it out. I should really go act that out with a couple of my friends to show everybody how exactly, by the examiner's report and by everything else, how it happened. That's what should have been done in the first place.
Oh, yeah. You get the visual because sometimes you're like, how would that happen? And then you're like, oh, it could happen. Visuals are important. And there's nothing wrong with acting it out. You're not being, trying to be silly about it. You're just trying to present evidence, or thought-provoking things. I don't think
there's so many untruths. There's so many untruths out there that the other family is saying. And it's funny. They sat right in the courtroom, right in front of me. They watched the whole thing right in front of me. But everything they're posting on their page is lies.
What kind of
to get people's attention? Why would they do that unless they're afraid dad's gonna win?
Good point. what are they posting that's not true?
Well, one of them posted that the little boy sat there and held his dead daddy and rocked back and forth.
Oh,
No, he ran down the street. Number two, he was my dad shot a man in the back as he was running away. Not true. My daddy shot him 3 times in the back. There's a whole lot of non-truth there. There was 2 shots, and one was in the back shoulder, but not in his back. And people don't stop to think about how that got there. Like I said, he was spun. When the first bullet hit him, it spun him around, and the second bullet, I mean, it was so quick. The power of the bullet spun him. I mean, come on. His feet were crossed. You can tell.
right.
I mean, these people are, they also put out there that his, skanky daughter, talking about me, that dad should have pulled out. Come on, really? What did I do to you?
Right. They're just grasping at straws.
But they're attacking me, and I'm just his daughter. I didn't shoot anybody. If you want to attack somebody, go on Dad's Facebook, go on Dad's TikTok, and say what you need to say and get it out. Don't come at me on my shit.
Right.
That's okay. Tomorrow I'm going to press charges on all of them.
Yeah, they've been harassing you, and
really bad.
Have they threatened you in any way?
No, they haven't threatened me yet. The wife, when Dad got convicted, he was home on a tether, and she called the cops on Dad religiously for having too much traffic at his house. Well, yeah, people were coming from all over states, family, to say goodbye to him. But she called the police on that.
Wait, this is who had the tether?
My dad.
Okay. Oh, after this happened? Okay.
Yes, they put him on a tether so he could see his doctor's appointments before he turned himself in.
Okay.
And so he was in his front yard talking to the new neighbor that moved in across the street. She walked across the street. Dad went to the front yard. He can't go no further. She called the police. And then she called the police while I stayed the night there with them. And the cops came. And me and my stepmom was outside smoking, and the cops pulled up. And I'm like, what the hell? And they got out and said, hey, we want to talk to Dave. And I said, there's no Dave here. We don't know a Dave. It's just me, my dad, and my stepmom. Well, we just got a call from down the street here saying there's a guy named Dave, and he keeps calling Mr. Ballestri's wife and threatened to shoot her with a gun. I said, really? Who does that? Who calls and says, hey, I'm down at the end of the street. My name's Dave, and I'm going to shoot you with a gun.
Right.
So I end up having to go and make a report about that because she was calling the police over everything. But as far as her posting on Facebook and shutting my shit down, it's not her. It's her sister-in-law, the deceased brother's wife. She's got a real problem. I'm beginning to wonder what her and Mr. Ballestri was doing, because she's pushing that hard. That hard.
Have you notified those people who are harassing you? Have you given them one cease and desist where you tell them don't contact me or comment? Sometimes you
nope,
have
I don't
notice.
No, because the first day in court, it was ordered.
Oh, that's right.
That we were not to speak to each other through any way, shape, or form, not even through social media. These people are writing letters to the murderer and his family and friends.
And it should have something where they can't even use what we call the flying monkeys, where you can't use an advocate for you. So let's say you had something against me where I can't contact you. So yeah, I can't contact you, but that also means my friends and my friends' friends can't contact you, because
that's exactly what the judge said. No communication between family and friends or anybody to each other. And it's been nonstop with them people, nonstop. So I made the report about the calling of the cops, but tomorrow I'm going to press charges because I've screenshotted everything that they've done. Every fundraiser we've made, they've shut it down. Every Facebook, when they shut it down. And then now the VFW, they've called in there and we've been getting ready for this for a month, and they call us and tell us, well, we're canceling it. Really? We got a lot of money and time invested in this, and thousands of people that were coming. Because we did flyers.
The VFW just got scared for commotion, or why did they shut it down?
Okay, so what I was told was they called, well, I've got also where they posted on Facebook for all the VFWs not to let us have our fundraiser for a murderer. I've got that screenshot. But when they called in there, they said that they were members of the VFW and they donate every year. And that if they let this happen in their establishment, they will not donate again and they will protest it.
Okay, it comes down to money.
Protest. Protest. You're going to look stupid. 5 little people running around here.
See how effective it is. But money talks, and that's sad.
It is sad.
And that's what's so sad too is let's say your father's innocent. Like, it's almost impossible to have the fundraisers or to prove your point or to have people listen, because it can happen. What is it, 6% or something like that of cases are wrongfully convicted. It's fairly high if you ask me. And depends on, they have studies on when, let me ask you this, what time was the end of the last day? What time did you guys get out of court? Did you go till 5, or what time did you go until?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember. There's been so much happened since then. That day we went to lunch. And you know what? The first 3 days we were victorious. We just knew we had it because everything that they threw out, it was not, it was like, oh, he just lied. Oh, that one just lied. Oh, that's wrong. They got that wrong. We had it in the bag. And then that day after we come back from lunch, while the jury was deliberating for an hour, maybe 20 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, all 12 of them found Dad guilty.
How long
Makes
were
no
they out
sense
on
to me.
deliberation? How long did they talk?
Not long. Not long. It wasn't 2 hours. It was about an hour and 20 minutes. We went to lunch, and by the time we got back, we sat in the hallway for about 10 minutes, and they said, okay, the jury's ready.
Now, there is something, this probably will not happen, but there is something where if the judge completely disagrees with the jury, the judge still can overrule it. A lot of times that doesn't happen, but if the judge is like, you guys are whack jobs, no. But
No, he won't even let him go to his, he's got to have a heart cath done because he has a blockage in his neck, and she will not even let him go there to have that done. And that appointment was last Wednesday, and our lawyers fought it, trying to get him into that appointment. And she said no. Said the prosecuting attorney keeps shooting us down, and she's okay in it.
wow.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I'm waiting every day for a phone call to tell me my dad died in jail.
Well, we're gonna say some prayers, and that's not gonna happen. We're gonna do what we can,
We need all the prayers we can get. I tell you right now, we need all the help we can get in funds and everything. I mean, if you could, for your followers or your listeners right now, they can go to Freedom Eddie Hicks on Facebook. They can find all the truth. Everything I'm telling you right here, right now, is all in black and white and video. It's all there. And we have Cash App, we have Venmo. We tried to GoFundMe, but they kept shooting it down, so we couldn't do that. But yeah, we need all the help we can get to send this man.
Did you get t-shirts made? I know you had something about
Yes, $20 donation, get you a shirt.
and
We've sold about 100.
Did you?
Yeah, we sold about 100. We've got 3,085 people on our Facebook. We have 500. Last time I looked on the petition, it was 503. And that video, I'm hoping, I'm praying that we can get Ted Nugent to come here and fight for my dad.
Yeah.
But there's 47,000 views on that, and it's still being passed around. So maybe we'll get somewhere. Maybe we'll find somebody that'll help us. I mean, I'm begging somebody to help save my daddy from wrongful conviction.
And also some of my viewers might have channels too, or if you guys can share this story, it's an interesting story. Maybe people just want to listen and maybe it'll tug at their heartstrings. And like I said, you guys don't have to necessarily believe in it, but there is research for you to have any of your questions answered. And I think once you see the full evidence, I believe he's
I,
innocent. I believe he's
can
innocent.
can I say this? Your Second Amendment rights, they're at stake right now when an old man can't fight for his own life in his yard.
Yeah.
Your Second Amendment's being stomped on, and this is proof. And they're using my daddy as an example to take your weapons from you. This is not the only case of an elderly man going to jail for protecting himself. I
Because
just seen one. I just seen one a couple of days ago where an old man and old woman, grandparents, were babysitting their infant grandchild, and three men came in their house to rob them. And one of them pulled a gun on the old man, and the old man got to his gun first and shot him. That man is sitting in jail.
yeah, you just
It's
go
all
about your
over.
day and all of a sudden what is going on? You don't have any inkling to wreak havoc on people, and all of a sudden your life is completely changed. And
Think about all these people coming across the border illegally, thousands and thousands and thousands, and you can't protect yourself on your own property? That's sickening.
yeah, well, we'll get the word out there, and I want to thank you. I'd love to do some
Thank you.
more
Thank you.
videos with you on some of the mental strains, how to keep ourselves sane during all of this. And I think right now you have
It's hard.
purpose, but your purpose is going to help keep you strong right now. But take some time for yourself. It's hard, but
There's not a minute. I don't get no minutes to myself. I don't think about myself anymore. It's all about saving daddy. And honest to God, I don't go anywhere because I eat, sleep, and everything else. Daddy, 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 because it's not right what they've done to him.
I agree.
I'm not gonna quit. I'm not. I got to stay strong for him until he comes home.
Well, thank you, Lorena Hicks, for joining us.
Lenora.
Lenora, I did it again. I have it right here.
It's
You know what's
okay.
so funny is I stuck it in my head like you got to do it the right way, Lenora.
Everybody does it. I've been called Laura, Lorena. Yeah, I've been called everything. It's okay.
Beth, I'll call you Beth. Lenora, I'm so sorry. Oh,
It's
that probably
okay.
crazy. I feel bad about that. Lenora Hicks.
Thank you.
Eddie.
And
Freedom, Eddie.
Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, you too. You too. I know it's going to be a hard year this year.
Oh, yeah. And Merry Christmas to all your viewers.
We thank you for that. Take care, Lenora, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good night. Bye.
You too.